Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning, and today we've definitely got a very interesting load and choke combo to try out, and it's one that one of you guys suggested a good long while ago, so I do apologize that it's taken me this long to get to it, but we're definitely going to find out whether it's going to work out or not. But as for the shells we've got today, I brought out some more of the Winchester Super X Upland and Small Game shells, but these ones are at 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1 1/8 ounce payload of 4-shot, moving about 1255 feet per second. Now we've tested these Winchester Upland and Small Game shells in a couple different shot sizes now for turkeys, and they've always been surprisingly okay. They're definitely not a turkey shell, so yes, we're trying to do something with these that they're not really designed for, but there's been thousands of turkeys taken with these field style shells like this, and these are a high brass load, so they definitely are capable of getting the job done. But how are these actually going to perform through today's choke combo? I think that's the big question. So as for today's setup, I brought out the Remington 870 special purpose. It's got a 24-inch barrel on it, and for the choke, I threw in the Kicks Gobblin Thunder 655 constriction. This choke has been a great choke in all of our testing with it, but with it sitting at 655, it's going to do one of two things here. It's either going to work out great for us at that constriction, since these are a very basic and kind of more budget-oriented shell, or it's going to be too much constriction for those lead 4s, and it's going to kind of ruin our pattern. It could kind of go either way, or fall somewhere in the middle, but we'll see what it can actually do, because it might work out surprisingly well for us. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual. Even though that's not technically a turkey shell, I'm not going to handicap it at all. So our turkey target is set up at 40 yards, and of course I got the chrono so we can get our velocity. So let's get you guys a view of that target and see what these Super X Upland and Small Game 4s can actually give us through this Kicks 655. I'm kind of on the fence on what we're going to get here. It could be good, could be pretty disappointing, but let's take our shot and see what we actually get. All right, that shell gave us 1305 through the chrono. Boss claim is 1255, so we're 50 feet per second above the claim. So from our 24-inch barrel, that's a little bit surprising, but I believe from our previous test, we were seeing right around 1300 from them. So I don't think this is anything too out of the ordinary for these shells. But let's head down there to 40 and see how they actually pattern through that Kick 655. All right, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and it's definitely rather interesting. Now, do we have a dead bird? Yes, we absolutely do. There's one on the bottom edge of the brain and a number more down the spine. So is it 40-yard capable? Yes, it definitely is. And to be fair, there's nowhere left or right there that he could move to and get away from you. However, you can clearly see that we really don't have much of a hot core to it at all. That's not too surprising considering what these shells are, but usually, even though they are a lead 4, in a field shell, we do normally have more pellets on the actual turkey paper here than what we see with this particular combination. There's kind of a little clump of shot right there behind his back, but I wouldn't even really call that a core. Around the edges, we kind of just scattered pellets all over the rest of it here. If this was a waterfowl oriented pattern, it really wouldn't be too bad for that. But for a turkey pattern, I'm saying 40 yards is the absolute limit that I would ever push these to. Now, of course, if you keep them at 30 yards and in, you're going to absolutely have a hammering combination right there, no doubt about it. But I definitely think that we went too far with the choke constriction here. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes these cheaper or more basic shells need all the choke that they can really get to actually perform well when it comes to a turkey pattern. But so far, this is probably the worst turkey pattern we've seen from these shells. So it sure looks to me like we kind of blew our edges all over the place a little bit here. Seems like if you want to turkey hunt with this type of a shell, or at least these loads, 660, maybe 665 is probably a little bit better of a choice, at least in my testing so far. It's not too surprising. Lead 4s tend to prefer a little more open of a choke across the board, whether it's a turkey shell or not, but we had to try it and see what would happen. So yes, this is a turkey capable combination, but I wouldn't call it a very enticing one at that. If this is all you had, yes, it would work. If this is all you could get for a youth hunter or something, since these are a low recoil shell in the grand scheme of things, and you're going to be be keeping them at 30 yards and in on a field over some decoys, yes, it would absolutely work perfectly fine. Plus, for a youth hunter, you could buy these shells in a 25 round box like that and have a bunch of shells for them to practice with for cheap. So for that kind of stuff, they're not horrible, but it's not a combo that I'm going out to switch to. And from field loads in general, we have seen much better combos than this. It's just too much choke for the load, which I don't think very many of us are too surprised at that at the end of the day here. So I think it did about what I was kind of expecting it to. And here's the wad from that shell. This is just your very standard field style wad. Nothing fancy about it. You can see that it's a little bit tore up from that 655 ported Kicks choke. This is not uncommon even for standard turkey wads and stuff to get torn up like this through that choke. But there's nothing stuck down in there and no major failures or anything that I'd be concerned about. So nothing special, but it's definitely not designed to be a turkey wad, and especially not designed for that shell to go through that type of a choke. Overall though, looks very much like I would expect it to. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance right there? Like I just mentioned, I think it's probably what a lot of us expected to see. It's not anything great when it comes to a turkey pattern, but this shell is not a turkey oriented shell. Can it still get the job done? Yes, absolutely. It's a lead 4, and lead 4s have been taking turkeys for 100 or more years now, so it's absolutely capable. But I do think we went over that choke threshold here with this combo. 655 could have worked out considering what the shell is, but ultimately, I think it's just too much choke. We've seen better from these through more open chokes. I think we've tried them through a couple different 660 and 665 chokes with better results than that. And you can kind of look at the edges and tell you just kind of scattered stuff all over the place. It's definitely nothing condensed down or anything like that. And we really don't even have any type of a core to speak of either. So even though, yes, this would still get the job done, technically speaking, it's not a combo that I'm going to go out and switch to. If it's all I could get, sure. But there's definitely better chokes out there for this load, and there's better loads out there in general when it comes to the field style loads for turkey hunting than what these are. So leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Winchester Upland Small Game 4s for turkey hunting? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is that a pattern or combo you would ever hunt with? Or are you kind of like me to where it would work if it's all you had, but it's definitely not the ideal combo you want to go out and switch to? And what other loads or choke combos do you want to see when it comes to field loads for turkey hunting? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All the information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.